Hello friends, do you love tea and natural wellness products as much as I do? I've partnered with Positively Tea and Positively Botanicals, and I can honestly say I drink their organic loose leaf tea almost every day, and I love it. From organic teas to natural remedies, they offer high quality products that support a healthy, mindful lifestyle. When you shop through my affiliate link, you not only discover amazing products for yourself, but you also help support the podcast. Visit the link in the show notes to explore their selections today. And for you coffee lovers, they have you covered as well. Treat yourself, support the show, and keep connecting with the natural world. Well, hello friends, and welcome to the Forest Connection. Today we're going to head outside and take our shoes off and walk through the grass and get ourselves grounded. Maybe you've heard that term before, maybe you haven't, but we're going to talk a little bit today about grounding. So you may wonder, what is grounding? Grounding is, well, there are two basic definitions for grounding. One is scientific physiological, and that is basically it's a contact with the earth which helps to regulate the nervous system, reduces stress hormones, and balances the circadian rhythm, which I'll get into a little more in depth with that. The other definition is more spiritual and energetic. Reconnecting with earth energy to center yourself, release tension, and feel stable. So basically what grounding is connecting, or I should say reconnecting to the earth. So when we talk about grounding, we're really talking about reconnecting to something that has always been there. Basically, it's the earth's electrical field. So that's what we're trying to reconnect to. Let's put it in another way. Okay, think of the planet as a giant living battery. Just like the battery you have in your car, the batteries you put in your flashlight, the battery in your cell phone. Think about the planet as one of these batteries, but it's the entire Earth is one giant living battery. Every day, millions of lightning strikes and energy of the sun continually charge the surface of the earth with these free electrons. So basically the sun, lightning, it's all charging this battery. That means that the ground beneath us is like an enormous reservoir of negative charge. A planet-wide battery just waiting for us to plug back into it. And our bodies? Well, we're electrical too. We are full of energy. One of these days I'll talk about energy. I'll do an entire episode on energy and my views on energy. But essentially our bodies, we are full of energy. We're made up of salty fluids, which conducts a charge. When our bare skin touches the earth, whether it's soil, sand, grass, water, wherever you're touching the earth, these free electrons flow right into our tissues. It's a process called electron transfer. It works a lot like the grounding wires in an electrical system. It prevents static buildup. Except this time, it's your body that's being grounded. So many of you are probably familiar with the battery of your car. So you have a positive and a negative battery terminal. The positive one is giving the energy from the battery into the vehicle. And then you have the negative, which is the grounding wire. This grounding wire is attached to some metal in the vehicle, which then goes down into the ground. In your house, when you have an electric panel put into your house, they take a wire from the electrical panel, big heavy wire too, and it goes outside the house, and it's attached to a rod, a metal rod that is buried into the ground, so that any extra charge will go through that and into the ground. So it's grounded. So this is what we're talking about, only we're doing it with our bodies. Now here's why electrons matter. Much of the inflammation and stress in our bodies, it comes from unstable molecules called free radicals. I'm sure you've heard that term before. They're missing electrons, and in their search, they damage cells and tissues. The Earth's electrons can stop this by stepping in. They will neutralize these free radicals just like antioxidants do in our food. It's as if though the Earth is handing us little sparks of balance. Now, what's even more fascinating is that scientists have measured this. When you're cut off from the Earth, say walking on rubber shoes, our sneakers have that rubber sole to them. Our shoes have rubber soles to them. So we actually are breaking that connection to the Earth. So when we're walking on rubber shoes, living in high-rise buildings, or even standing on concrete floors, your body's electrical potential drifts away from the Earth's natural state. But the moment you reconnect, even for just a second, barefoot on the ground, nothing between you and the Earth, your body's voltage equalizes with the Earth's. It's measurable, and it happens almost instantly. This has been scientifically proven. And then there's something called the Schumann resonance. What that is the Earth's natural electromagnetic heartbeat. It pulses at about 7.8 hertz, which happens to be the same frequency as our brain's relaxed alpha waves. Some researchers suggest that when we ground ourselves, our bodies synchronize with this rhythm. That may be why standing barefoot on the Earth feels so deeply calming. Our nervous system is literally resonating with the planet. But here's the challenge. Modern life has insulated us. Our rubber and plastic soled shoes, like I was talking about, they block this conductivity. We spend our nights in elevated beds, far from the soil. We walk on asphalt and concrete instead of on grass. Our ancestors lived in constant contact with the Earth, but today we've cut off our contact with the Earth. I know every time I go up to check the mail, I avoid walking up the driveway to get to the mailbox. I actually go barefoot, and I walk through the grass the entire way up there, just so I can get that extra grounding. So, as I was mentioning, this is the science behind grounding, how it actually works. I know it sounds like it's a little mystical. There's actually some fascinating science behind it. Like I said, the surface of the Earth carries a natural negative electrical charge made up of free electrons. When your bare skin, especially your feet, touch the Earth, whether it's soil, grass, water, whatever, these electrons can actually transfer into our bodies. Some researchers describe it as a recharging system for our bodies, neutralizing the static charge that builds up from modern living. Now, what does all of this do for us? Now, there have been a number of small, kind of intriguing studies that suggest that this simple connection with the earth may actually reduce inflammation. Now, inflammation in the body has been linked with stress. Those unstable free radicals that damage our cells. The Earth's electrons seem to act a little like antioxidants, neutralizing those free radicals. In the studies that they did, people experienced lower cortisol. That's our stress hormone, in case you didn't know what cortisol was, as well as reduced pain, less muscle soreness, especially after exercise, and even faster wound healing. All of this just from touching the earth. Scientific studies have proven this. Now, grounding also appears to influence the nervous system. Many people report that it helps shift them out of that fight or flight state into the calmer, rest and restore mode. It's why grounding often leaves people feeling more relaxed, with a lighter mood, and even less anxiety. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. Now, there's also been some evidence that it may affect our sleep by helping regulate stress hormones and also stabilizing the body's electrical activity. Grounding could help reset our circadian rhythm. If you're unfamiliar with the circadian rhythms, it's our natural sleep-wake cycle. In other words, connecting with the earth might actually help your body remember when it's time to rest. Now, there has been some research also to look at blood viscosity. Some early findings actually suggest that grounding can make the blood flow more freely, which improves circulation. That might explain why some participants in these studies actually reported less cardiovascular strain and even a little more energy, because they're getting this extra circulation, this better circulation, just from this grounding effect. Now, it is important to say that this is still early stages of these studies. Okay, it's an emerging field, grounding. Many of the studies have small sample sizes. More research definitely needs to be done. But the preliminary studies that they've been doing have been very promising. So even skeptics tend to agree on one thing. Just the act of going barefoot outdoors gets us moving, breathing fresh air, and paying closer attention to our surroundings. And as I've talked in previous podcasts, all of these things benefit us. It's undeniable. So, while the science continues to catch up, grounding is one of those practices that invites you to try it and feel the difference for yourself. So that is the basic science behind grounding. Maybe you still think it's kind of out there, a bit weird, strange, like, oh, I don't believe that. Or maybe you really think it's a great thing. Maybe you already are grounding yourself. Whatever side you're on, it doesn't hurt to try it. I mean, how many times have you gone outside and walked barefoot through the grass? Doesn't it feel great? It's kind of nice to get that foot massage too. But here's some easy, simple grounding practices for you. Try it. It can't hurt. First of all, walking barefoot. Walking barefoot, not on concrete, not in your house, although I do that all the time too. But walk barefoot on the grass, in the sand. Oh, I love doing that in the summer. Or on soil, or in the water. Maybe walk down a creek barefoot, not with rubber on your soles. Let your feet touch the earth. Another easy practice, sitting against a tree and imagining the roots connecting you. I mean, if you're sitting against the tree, you're getting the energy from the tree, but you're also getting the grounding effect from the ground that you're sitting on. And while you're doing that, and this is something you can do even if you're not sitting against a tree, it's another simple practice to ground yourself. Do some breathing exercises. I've talked about this before, like with forest bathing. Match your breath with the rhythm of your footsteps. It gets the rhythm going. Remember, we're talking about the rhythm of the earth and its energy? Well, this starts getting you more in tune to that. So try walking barefoot, matching your breath with your footsteps. It actually slows you down too, so you're not running through the grass. You're just walking slowly. And of course, I'm big on visualization. Imagine yourself drawing calm energy up from the ground. So draw that energy up from the ground. Just visualize this, and it will help to connect you to the ground. Now, you can also carry grounding objects with you. What are grounding objects? Well, stones, wood, or put a little bit of earth into a small pouch and carry that in your pocket with you. I know I carry some crystals in my pocket all the time. I always have crystals in my pocket. And that helps to ground me even when I'm wearing rubber-soled shoes. Now, for those of you who live in colder climate like I do, kind of hard to take your shoes off in the wintertime and walk barefoot outdoors. Brr. I don't want anyone out there getting frostbite. So please don't do it. No, unless you do it for a very short period of time. But don't go walking through the snow barefoot. It is a way of grounding, but it's not a comfortable way of grounding. And if you do something that you're not enjoying, you're less likely to do it. So my suggestion is to ground yourself indoors. And you may wonder, how on earth do I do that? Well, they do make different grounding things. Like I said, you can carry some things. You can use stones. You can use a sack full of dirt that you collected during the summer. Wood is also considered a grounding material. But they also make grounding blankets and other grounding items. I've never used one, so I can't really promote them that well. I've just heard of them, and I've had people tell me that they really do help, but I've never done it myself. So this is just a suggestion, just letting you know it's out there. They make these grounding blankets, and what you do is you plug it in to a socket. Don't worry, you're not going to electrocute yourself. It's not like an electric heating blanket. It's actually just the grounding part that's being plugged in. So on a normal socket, electrical outlet, you have the two parts, the positive, the negative. Those are the slits, and then the circular part in the bottom, that is the ground. And that's what's being plugged in, is the grounding section. So you're essentially taking your blanket, which you're laying underneath, and I've heard of people using it on their beds so that when they go to bed, they're being grounded all night. They plug it in, and all of the ground in this blanket, it's got some pieces of, from what I understand, it's got pieces of wire going through the entire blanket. It's being grounded through your electrical outlet, which I talked about it earlier. Your electric box is grounded to a bar outside your house that's buried into the ground, usually about 3 feet deep. So you are actually connecting yourself to the ground. Now, I've heard there's other products that do this too, other grounding products. You can look it up online, and you can actually, I'll put some products. I will do a little research. I'll make sure I put some products on my Amazon store so that you can take a look at the different products for grounding yourself. Try to do it naturally. But like I said, if you live in cold climate like I do, hey, you don't have an opportunity all the time to get outside and ground yourself. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the things that interfere with grounding. Oh, by the way, one thing that interferes, I talked about already, rubber-soled shoes. They do make grounding shoes. They don't have the rubber sole. I don't have a pair. I haven't tried them, so once again, I can't endorse them, but these grounding shoes, they will actually keep you connected more closely with the earth because there's no rubber interfering with the grounding. Might be a good idea to get those. Maybe some sandals for the summer that have a grounding sole to them. Now, another thing that interferes is electronics. In your bedroom, do you have an alarm clock next to your bed? Do you have Alexa next to your bed? I know I just said that, and if you're playing this over a speaker, I'm sure she's probably said something about a bed. But anyhow, do you have a charging station for your phone? Do you have your phone next to your bed when you go to bed at night? Do you carry your phone in your pocket all day long? All those things are electrically charged, and they're going to interfere with the grounding process. So if you have like grounding stones with you, and you carry them with you, don't put them in the same pocket as your cell phone because they're going to interfere with each other. They're going to counteract each other. So watch out for electronics if you're trying to be grounded. And that electric blanket, not the grounding blanket, but if you use an electric blanket to stay warm, I don't even know if they make them anymore, but I'm sure they do, get rid of it. First of all, it's going to interfere with your grounding. But second of all, they are a fire hazard. I know firsthand when I was a kid, an electric blanket short-circuited in my house during the day. Luckily, no one was home. It didn't happen at night. It was during the day when no one was home. Short-circuited, burned the house down. So don't use electric blankets for those two reasons. So try to avoid the electronics if you're trying to ground yourself. Now, I want to wrap things up with how to ground yourself. Okay, I already gave you all those simple practices, but you don't have to do them 24/7. No, you just need to do it every once in a while. At least once a day is what I recommend. Get outside, or like I said, if you can't in the wintertime, find some other way of grounding yourself. But try to ground yourself at least once a day. Be out there at least 15 minutes. Now, as I mentioned earlier, as soon as your feet, your bare feet, touch the ground, you are immediately getting that energy, getting that grounding from the earth. But the longer you stay walking around in that dirt, in that sand, in that water, on the ground, through the grass, the longer you do it, the more benefits you're going to get from it because your whole body can start to ground. So try it. Go outside. If it's nice and warm out right now, go outside right now. Take your shoes off. Walk around in your backyard. And that's another great part about it. You don't have to go to a park. You don't have to go to the beach. You don't have to go. You can do it right in your own backyard. Like I said, when I go out to get the mail at the end of my driveway, it's not a long driveway, but I will take my shoes off and I walk barefoot through the grass to get to the mailbox. And sometimes I'll even carry the mail around the house and then come in the front door. So I am grounding myself that entire time. And my wife and I, we love going out in our backyard during the summer and just walking around barefoot, just checking out the garden, see how things are going, looking for different insects, looking for the butterflies, just enjoying the weather. And we walk around barefoot for like 15 minutes to a half an hour to get that grounding effect. To wrap things up, remember, walking barefoot on grass, soil, sand, or in the water is the simplest way to tap into the Earth's energy, into the Earth's charge. Even a few minutes will help your body's electrical potential equalize. Sitting with your hands or back against a tree also works. Trees are natural conduits from the earth to the sky. And remember all the benefits that you get from grounding. Mostly stress release, but also it prevents or helps inflammation, which is a big problem with a lot of what goes on with illness in our bodies. So if you can reduce that inflammation in your body, you're going to reduce the stress, you're going to reduce damage to your cells, and you'll find that you're going to be healthier. So get out and start grounding. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about grounding today. Next week, I'll offer a guided grounding meditation. So listen on the podcast or watch on YouTube. I have all my guided meditations on my YouTube channel as well. Make sure you like the podcast, share it. That's a big one. Make sure you share this podcast with those who you think would really benefit from it, which in my opinion is everybody benefits from connecting with the earth to stay healthy. So try to get out there and do the grounding yourself, but bring friends with you as well. Convince them to be grounded. And like I said, share this episode and share the podcast with your friends. And if you'd like to support the podcast, all the links are in the show notes. And I'll have a link in the show notes to my Amazon store, which also helps support the podcast because a portion of every sale actually comes into the podcast. So I will leave a link for that, and I will have some grounding items in the store by the time this podcast is released. Thank you for joining me, and stay connected to the earth. Hello, friends. I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings. Hey there, fellow nature wanderers. If you're like me, you love spending time outdoors, breathing in that fresh air and connecting with the natural world. But at home, have you ever thought about what's in the products you use every single day? That's why I'm excited to share Apple Valley Natural Soap with you. Their handcrafted all-natural soaps are made with organic ingredients, essential oils, and no harsh chemicals. Awesome! So they're not only great for your skin, but they're safe for the planet. And they don't just stop at soap. Apple Valley Natural Soap also carries a full line of natural skincare products, including shampoos, body butters, facial bars, and more. All designed to nourish your skin without synthetic ingredients. You can't beat that. That's just awesome. Whether you're hiking in the woods or just winding down after a long day, their products bring a little bit of nature right into your home. And the best part? By supporting Apple Valley Natural Soap through the Nature Wanderer, you're also supporting this podcast. Just head to the show notes and click on the link for Apple Valley Natural Soap. So go ahead, treat yourself and the environment to something better. Your skin and Mother Nature will thank you. Now let's get on with our adventure.